Hey, fellow Mouseketeers and theme park buffs, it's England, the homegrown tourist here with my friend Dr. Venkman.
How's it going, everybody?
And we're going to be talking about the very first episode of the Imagineering story. This was one I didn't even know about, to tell you the truth, Doctor. When I got the service, I saw it and I was like, okay, well, this looks interesting. This is like the kind of thing I like to watch, a little history of Disney. And I put it on. I'm like, this is exactly what I like to watch. Of course, I asked you to watch it so you could help talk to me. What did you think about it?
I thought it was very educational. I know next to nothing about Disney other than there's animatronics and it's Small World.
Okay.
And the things I always hear about is the Animal Kingdom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or you hear about the Star Wars theme with the light show at nighttime.
Right. You probably you're getting all the new stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I was never a big Disney buff. I've never been on to Disney. I have watched old Disney movies, but I've never remember them actually going to Disney at all.
Except for like Danny Tanner from for what's that? I was about to say Home Alone, but that's not what it is.
Full House, and then
Full House,
and then Step by Step also went to Disneyland.
Yeah, that to me. See, that's weird.
Family Matter.
It's weird because I know you're in your 30s, and see, I've been raised. My first, I don't even remember my first time. My first time was a baby. My mother was one of the first cast members. She was in the first year cast member, and there's a picture of me somewhere. I've got to find it because I keep talking about it. Of me and my mother, and I'm a baby in front of the castle. So Disney's always been a part of my life for the last 50 years, So it's very odd when I hear somebody.
You're also not a normal person.
Never been.
Yeah. You're not a normal person. You live there.
I know. Yeah, that's part of the thing. So that's kind of funny because I love going to Disney. It's not a big deal to go to Disney, if that makes any sense. Well, and that's kind of how I know a lot of Floridians think. Definitely those that live in Central Florida, right around the park. I've worked there, so I've gone so many different times, and I've got the pass, so I go in. I've always known someone who worked there, even if I didn't have a pass. So yeah, it's always been easily accessible, and it's kind of weird to talk to somebody. And this is why I think you watching this TV show along with me is going to be interesting because you're an outsider to this, and I'm a Disney fan, Disney, and you could actually say Disney fanatic, not just for the parks, but for the man. I think Walt Disney is a very intriguing figure.
Oh, definitely. You like I said, you grew up with Disney. I grew up with Six Flags.
There you go. You know what? That's funny because that's what Gail tells me also before she was from Chicago.
Yeah, she's not that far away from where I live.
Yeah. So one thing I can say is I've never been to Disneyland, and I cannot wait to go. Maybe I should get a Kickstarter for that. If some guy could get his mailbox replaced, maybe I could get this old man to his first trip to Disney before he has diabetes or a heart attack or something, that I'm obviously aiming for here. But that's what this is about. The first episode of Imagineering is about the creation of Disneyland.
And I gotta say, dude, I love the fact that they even brought up like all the competitors after Disneyland, Six Flags, the cheap knockoffs. I was like, yes, I'm poor.
the thing, I don't know if I could call it a cheap knockoff or anything. Like, if you want a cheap knockoff of Disneyland, you got to go to Universal. Now, Universal isn't cheap, and they do their jobs well, but Six Flags isn't as themed as Disneyland is. That's the biggest. It's the difference between an amusement park and a theme park. And I love the story, of course. They go through it on the in the Imagineering story, where the idea came from. He was at an amusement park, and he was sitting on a bench watching his daughters on the carousel, and he said, "Well, we need a place where kids and parents both can go and enjoy the rides and be a part of the magic rather than just the kids." I don't understand that line of thought, because I've taken my kids to Disney and they love the carousel, and I'm right there with them. Hey, let's go.
Well, I think what he's saying was basically just like you had maybe a few rides, and he said like they also bring up the series how circuses and they were never clean.
Oh,
they were disgruntled employees and all. Where he's like, I want to be. I'm a kid at heart. I want kids to basically have fun. I want adults to be able to like, hey, I want to go there too. You know?
Yep. The biggest problem with the cleanliness of the parks, of course, is the people. I'm going to be completely honest. It's always the guest. We're going to be bouncing back and forth, I'm sure, as far as this concerned. No linear to talking about this TV show, but there's even a part where they're talking about the Hall of Presidents, or it was, I forgot what it was, like something with Mr. Lincoln or something.
Oh, Lincoln! They're trying to animate.
And they were throwing pennies at him to see if he would flinch, because they thought it was a real guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and people are like that. For a while, Disney allowed gum and allowed cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. And that was when I worked there even. And you would see it all over the place. And they actually stopped they stopped selling gum in the park. You just can't find it, because people would just throw it down on the ground. Next person picks it up with their shoe. And it just becomes a big old mess. So I just love the fact those tiny things, because they even bring something like that up in the Imagineering, where he's talking about it takes 30 steps to eat a hot dog. So you have to have something to throw away your paper. So you're only 30 steps away from a garbage can at any given moment. And I just think that it's facts like that fill this this TV show. It's absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Now,
do they sell alcohol beverages for adults at the park?
Now they do. This is a new thing.
Yeah.
They had it at Epcot first, because Epcot, you have the World Showcase, and you would be able to sell it in there. But now with Beauty and the Beast, they have wine in the and also at Disneyland, you have Galaxy's Edge that actually has a bar there, and that is brand new. I mean, that's like, because that's liquor. And that's never been allowed. That's not even in our Magic Kingdom, because all you could get is wine from Beauty and the Beast, and some of us Puritans are like, no, you shouldn't have hard alcohol at Magic.
The reason I ask, because like I remember, like, this is like when I was in high school 15, 16 years ago, and probably more than that. And anyway, the price of beer, like, this is for a bottle or Miller Lite, it was like $6.25. And I don't know if that's Illinois, because they're like freaking like ridiculous when they want to charge us for tourists. Mm-hmm. But I wonder how much would be our average alcohol beverage would be at Disney.
Oh, it's expensive. Now I wouldn't know what a beer costs, but your average mixed drink used to in the park can now run you to between $12 and $15, and they're about yay depending on what you're getting and how much alcohol.
With the lemonades, like the umbrellas.
But no, they've got real drinks there, and
really?
Some of them are good. Some of them are good. Some of them not so much. There's one at the Star Wars that numbs the tongue. So
yeah, I was wondering about that, because like it's a kids thing. Why would they have alcohol there?
For adults, I guess. So
it's the happiest place on earth, but it's the
happiest place, but occasionally you need a drink, I guess. But yeah, this thing goes through this show goes through the whole creation of Disneyland. A lot of it, in all honesty, if you are a Disney fan like myself, a lot of the footage you're gonna recognize, but they've colorized it. Something you probably wouldn't have recognized. A lot of those colored the videos from Disneyland when it first opened.
It's black and white.
Those have been colorized, and then thankfully they did keep some of the black and white footage, because there was actually, there's a lot of footage from the original newscast and everything of it being there. They do go over. One thing that I liked watching was they had footage of them riding like the Matterhorn, without any of its clothes on, so it was just the track.
Right, yeah.
That looks so much fun. I want to do that. I mean, I want to ride the Matterhorn anyway.
That poor guy, dude. He had to teach himself trigonometry. That's the good.
I know, right? I was like, how can you teach yourself trigonometry? It's like, I could hardly teach myself subtraction, and this guy's teaching himself trigonometry. It's amazing. It really is just a ton of fun to watch this thing, man. I remember though the big part, and I'm watching it with my wife, with Gail, who a lot of you guys would see in the videos. If you ever see us go to the parks, she says, I don't want to be on camera, and she won't listen to me and take the camera. Instead, she always accidentally walks in front, or she ends up, she's been on camera so many times, but she's watching it with me, and there's a part where the guy who designed the Matterhorn goes to visit the Matterhorn, and he goes inside and he talks about, the legend of the basketball court. Is it on the top of the mountain? He goes, of course not. But then you find out that there is a basketball court there, and so he plays little hoops.
It was a break room, and some guy's like, you know what? We're sitting here eating our lunch. Some guy brought in a hoop. Some guy brought in the ball, and it was like, that's how it goes.
Now everybody goes to shoot hoops during their break. The one thing that got me was apparently there's a wall where everybody who was ever a cast member has signed it. Now, we actually had something like that at the Art of Making Movies at Alfred Hitchcock, where anytime an actor or an actress came in, we had them sign the wall. They destroyed it when they made Shrek. They freaking destroyed it. We were saying, you've got to save the wall. I mean, you had Janet Leigh. You had Anthony Perkins sign that. You had there were celebrities who had died before they destroyed that wall. That wall was priceless, and they destroyed it. We couldn't believe it. Yeah, and they could not freaking believe it.
I wonder how old these interviews are, because Marty Schuyler was in it. They were interviewing him, and he died in 2017.
Yeah,
they must have been working on this for a while, or this
could be. But so there's this wall, and they say, "Is your name on there?" He goes, "No." Like, really? He says, "I've never been a cast member." And so then they say, "You want to put your name up there?" And he signed it, and Gail's like, "Oh."
He had the whole entire board to himself on one side. I was like,
yeah, and I thought that too. I was like, okay, the man who designed the Matterhorn deserves his name on that freaking wall. And that was like a really emotional moment to the story. It's filled with moments like that where you just kind of get to realize what's cool about it. The one part we'll talk about this, and obviously we're singing the praises, but the one part you bring up many, many times already was the part about Small World.
Can never forget that song ever. I haven't even been to the theme park, and I know that song.
Yeah, it definitely sticks with you. And I love the fact that they had the Sherman brother, who looks and says, I'm the one that wrote that song. So you either love me for it or you hate me for it.
Yeah,
I'm the guy who wrote it.
He's like, either you want to kiss us or you want to kill us. He actually said that. I was like, Disney's getting a little dark here.
You're absolutely right, sir. But overall, I got to say, I do recommend, based on this episode, I definitely want to see the second episode. And
well, definitely. Marty Schuyler is the guy who designed that, the Matador. So I wonder if the same guys who did the rides over there also designed them for the Florida one.
Some of them did. Yeah, some of them. But I'm hoping, because they've got something. The next episode, the second episode, is titled "What Would Walt Do?" Now, after Walt Disney died, he did not live to see the completion of Walt Disney World. But after Walt Disney died, that's what they always said: "What would Walt do? What would Walt do?" Mm-hmm. Even with the movies and everything, that everybody was asking, "What would Walt do?" The one person who nailed it was Kurt Russell. See, Disney had kind of gone. I'll say this, and then we'll go. We'll call it. But Disney movies kind of were in decline. They call it the dark period. It started after Jungle Book, and it ended with Little Mermaid, and they just couldn't seem to make a hit. Nothing really concrete. And Kurt Russell one day said, you guys keep asking what would Walt do, and you do the same thing he would have done when he was alive. but he would have already found the next best thing. He would have gone out and searched for what somebody, he would have led the way, not done exactly what he did when he was alive. And that kind of is what sparked. And I love that. I love hearing that quote. But so you're the guy who was not familiar with Walt Disney, the man, or the parks or anything. What do you think of this show so far?
I love it. It's interesting. In fact, you get to see the backstage areas that a lot of people have never seen. They're putting rumors to rest. I'll be curious if they address if Walt's frozen or if he's cremated.
Not frozen. That's one thing. I went through orientation, and they do tell you that. Yes, he is not frozen on property.
That's what they want you to know.
But they do say he's not frozen on property. So what does that mean? Are you saying he's frozen off property? Wait a second. Yeah. But anyway, so you would give it a recommendation?
Yes. I mean, the fact if Walt Disney actually was frozen in the middle of Walt Disney World, the Epcot Center, like that would just like freak me out if I ever found that was true. I'm
pretty sure it would. I think this has got great potential too. Not only just do the park, but you can do every ride. I mean, there's actual YouTube channels like Yesteryear and all that kind of stuff that does individual rides. And I would love to see that from the mouths of the people who have actually created it, or the historians that have created these things. I really would have, I really want to see that kind of thing. Not just the Imagineering of the entire thing, but specific rides, specific hotels, that kind of stuff. Because some of the hotels are themed to perfection. I'm about to take my family in the next week or so to a place here, the Fort Wilderness Hotel, and the tree there is magnificent. You're when you see it, you're gonna. I want to go there.
Definitely sounds great.
All righty. Well, thanks for joining the conversation, man. Seriously.
No problem. These are coming out every Friday?
Yeah, these are going to come out every Friday. And what I want to do is, the Saturday we'll do Mandalorian, or Friday we do Mandalorian, Saturday. You know what I'm saying? One a day. Yeah. And that way we can actually go through all because there's this show right here, the Imagineering. There's Mandalorian. There's the World According to Jeff Goldblum, which is going to be tomorrow. There's the and Pixar in real life. Those are definitely the ones I want to cover because those are the ones that look most fun. But we'll see about the other. If the other ones are entertaining enough, we'll start reviewing those as well. Yeah. All righty. Well, once again, thank you very much. And for those of you who clicked on this, or I know there's at least someone else watching this. I see the number. I said thank you very, very much for watching, and see you real soon.